driving out a lay-by, do you have to pick up the speed as well? Or not? Because you have to wait.
If you can.
If there's a big gap and you can get straight on.
If you're looking to your right and you can see there's a big gap coming up that you'll be able to accelerate into, then yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's do that. Let's stop in a lay-by. Not here, on the dual carriageway.
On the dual carriageway?
Yeah.
Jeff, how am I meant to get to 70 miles per hour from a lay-by?
Right, so now I've got your attention, let me tell you what this video is really about. Yes, it is a real lesson where I am teaching Harriet how to use lay-bys, and I hope in that sense you enjoy watching it and you find it useful. But I've gone a lot deeper into this video as well. So what you'll see appear on screen are both training notes at the bottom, but I've also highlighted each of the 17 competencies where they are relevant to that particular section of the lesson, so that you can hopefully understand, if you're preparing to take your part through your standards check, how the 17 competencies sort of interlink, overlap and intermesh, and how they clearly are not a linear process where you start a lesson dealing with competency number 1 and you finish a lesson ending in competency 17. As you'll notice, they're all mixed up, mashed up, and come in at various different places depending on how the lesson is progressing. And hopefully what you'll notice as well is that really, in order to deliver against the 17 competencies, I'm doing one of 3 things primarily. I'm listening to what the student is saying, I'm asking searching and important open questions, and I'm carefully watching what's happening inside and outside of the car. And if you can do those 3 things to a high standard and consistently well, then you almost, or should I say, it's almost impossible not to score well when it comes to being assessed against the 17 competencies. So have a watch. I think in order to get the very best out of it, particularly if you're a PDI, you're probably going to need to watch it at least twice through, and maybe take notes yourself as well. And of course, as always, please like and subscribe and leave your comments below, and I'd love to read them and get back to you ASAP.
Sometimes you can be behind tractors on like dual carriageways for ages, and it's just like, you know, a bit of an annoying thing.
Right, okay, so really good point that you just made in terms of slow moving vehicles on dual carriageways.
Yeah.
So it comes back to our old friend forward planning. So say you join a dual carriageway,
Yeah.
or you're already on one, and way in the distance you see what looks to be like a slow moving vehicle. It might be a tractor, it might be a big lorry, you know, these like houses that they have on the back of lorries sometimes, you know, going very slow. So what do you think you should do? So as soon as you recognise,
slow speed down there and then, so that when you approach it, like, you go in the correct speed in case you need to stop. Because if you're going too fast, like too late, do you know what I mean? It's going to be a bit of harsh braking.
Yeah, you could slow down early, but do you want to get stuck behind that vehicle?
No.
So what other alternatives have you got? If you've got more than one lane?
I'll overtake.
Yeah. So when's the best time to plan for overtaking? Straight away, or wait until you've got behind that slow moving vehicle and now you're going at the same speed as they are?
Before?
Yeah. So if you see something further up the road, that you feel like you're probably going to want or need to overtake at some point, then start planning for it straight away. Yeah, start checking your centre and right mirror, have a little tiny glance over to your right, check who's in the next lane across, and as and when it's safe for you to move over, put that signal on and then move across into the right hand lane.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is wait until you get up there to whatever
To
that
the-
slower moving
yeah.
vehicle is, and then start thinking about overtaking, because is it safer or riskier to try to move from one lane into another when you're going at a lot slower speed than the other lane, or at the same or similar speed to the other lane? If that makes sense.
Is it? Sorry, repeat it.
Yeah, that's right. So you're going in one lane,
Yeah.
say at 50 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and all the vehicles in the lane next to you are going at 70 miles an hour. Yeah. So is it safer or riskier to change lanes when you're doing a significantly different speed to the other vehicle?
Riskier.
Yeah, it
Because you
is.
might not get up to that speed in time.
Exactly.
And like not be a big enough gap.
Yeah.
You know?
So whilst you've still got your speed in the car,
Yeah.
that's when you want to move across into the other lane.
Yeah. When you're driving out a lay-by, do you have to pick up the speed as well, or not? Because you have to wait.
If you can,
If there's a big gap and you can get straight on.
if you're looking to your right and you can see there's a big gap coming up that
Yeah.
you'll be able to accelerate into, then yeah, absolutely. In fact, I tell you what, let's do that. Let's stop in a lay-by. Not here, on the dual carriageway.
On the dual carriageway?
Yeah.
Jeff, how am I meant to get to 70 miles per hour from a lay-by?
You won't be able to. So we need to figure out another way of doing it.
I wish I'd never said anything.
You may well need to do it one day.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a useful thing to have in your driver's toolbox, so to speak.
Is it basically just pulling out when there's a safe gap and accelerating and delaying my gear changes? A bit.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to do that. Because then you're getting up to the speed and then
Yeah.
you can flow through the gears once you're up to that speed.
Yeah. So what we do is when we get up to Grump's Bar roundabout, rather than turning right like we normally do down towards Monks Cross, we'll turn left, head out towards where the design outlet is.
God, really? Stay in this lane.
Yeah, and look what we've got in front of us as well.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Can I go into this lane?
Yes, when it's safe. So by planning nice and early for the overtaking manoeuvre,
Yeah.
you didn't end up getting stuck behind the tractor.
No. I feel quite proud of myself for doing that.
Good.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we're not going to do it at this first lay-by because we're just
Oh,
coming
yeah,
up to
we've
it
just-
now, but we'll do it at the next one. Okay? To begin with, because you haven't done one before,
Yeah, because I'll have to slow right down.
I'll
won't
talk
I?
you through what to do.
Oh, God.
Right.
I'm going to mess up.
No, you won't. You'll be
I
fine. Okay. So because we're going to be slowing down quite rapidly from speed,
Yeah.
you need quite firm braking. Not like an emergency stop.
Right. Okay.
Started braking,
But just push further down on the
but
brakes.
just we need to bring that speed down quite quickly. But again, it's about forward planning.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is look out for any road signs that tell us there's a lay-by coming up.
To be honest, I don't know what road signs let you know.
Well, let's have a look. What's the second blue sign?
Oh, park. Park?
P for park, yeah.
Half a
And what's
quarter
this?
of a mile.
Okay. So now we look at for the next blue sign that tells us where that parking
there's a
place
thing in
is.
it.
Right, well
Signal?
let's not pull in them
Oh,
because
I'll end up
there
going
may
into
be a reason why it's got that
Okay.
warning triangle there.
Oh, right. Road liable to flooding.
Road liable to flooding. Right, okay, so it wouldn't have been relevant to
No,
us.
but it's better not
But,
to,
yeah.
just in case.
So we'll just go on to the next one.
scared.
Okay, so got another P sign coming up.
Same distance. Right
Always
there.
quarter of a mile on a dual carriageway. So put a left signal on from back here to warn drivers coming up from behind.
And of my
You can-
accelerator.
No, keep your acceleration on at the moment. Now start to brake quite firm, and then bring the car to a stop almost as soon as you've come into the into the lay-by. That's it. Put a neutral handbrake on for a second. Okay. We'll leave the indicator on just as a warning light to vehicles behind. Okay. Right. So if you have the option, you don't always. Try to stop as early as you can in the lay-by.
Get some speed, got
Yep.
it. Because if you're right there, then it's a bit of a...
Yeah, if you don't have the choice, then the next sort of best option is to leave as big a gap as possible between you and anybody else in the lay-by.
Right.
So like this white van has now pulled in, but because we've stopped here, we've still got quite a lot of space to build up speed before we get to that white van. The last thing you want to do is get yourself tucked up quite close to a vehicle in front, because then you've got no space to play with.
Yeah, just this.
Right, so...
But I'm not going to have a big enough gap to get, like, do you see what I mean? Because I can only get to a certain speed behind this guy unless he moves off. But look at all the traffic in this left lane.
Yeah, so what does that then mean to you? What?
I have to wait. Oh, like that could have been, this next gap I could have gone to that.
Yeah.
So just wait until you have like
a really big gap that you can pull into. So you won't be able to build up to 70 in the lay-by, but you'll be accelerating rapidly and you'll get up to 70 quite quickly once you're on the main road.
Yeah, and you just prepare yourself, like obviously put the right signal off so that moving off from here.
Yeah.
And then just prepare my feet so that when I'm looking in this mirror and that, I can see when the big gap is, and then once like that last car, then I'll accelerate and get on as soon as I can.
So if you get the engine started in first gear, so we're now preparing for it.
Right signal.
Okay.
It's a bloody tractor.
So what do you reckon?
Oh, I don't want to because of the lorries.
You could.
No.
Then
sorry.
cancel your signal if you're not going to move off, because anybody coming down the main carriageway and sees your right-hand indicator may well respond to that and think, right, okay, I'm going to ease off or move across to let them out, and then you don't move.
Do you mean that by houses on lorries?
Yeah.
I would have done, but I didn't want to make the lorry slow down, do you know what I mean, in case I didn't,
You wouldn't have done.
messed up.
You wouldn't have done.
I know I need to be more confident.
Okay, so tell me when you think the next big enough gap is coming up.
Oh, I've just bloody missed it. For God's sake. I'm working myself up now, because now I haven't got any room.
Right, not in any rush, so just keep an eye on it.
So obviously I have to like take my foot off the clutch and then accelerate, so what if I like just jog forward for taking it off too fast?
Well, if you stall, then you stall, then we'll have to get the engine restarted and do it again, won't we?
Yeah.
You don't need to fly off.
No.
Yeah, don't pretend you're a F1 car.
No. I wish I'd never said anything like sat here all day. Okay, there's a few cars behind that lorry. Jeff, I honestly don't know. Oh, that person just cut back in. See, all the cars are piling up though behind them lorries. So I won't have a gap there unless they go into the overtaking.
What's changed in front of us?
Oh, there's no van.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we've got more space to play with.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's moving the car. Is the car wrong?
Okay, so we've got a big gap coming
Yeah.
up now. Okay, so start to move in this lane. Start to build up speed. Don't steer out. Just keep your right into second. Just have another quick check. What's that? Yeah,
I've gone straight into fifth.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I'm not off into the other day.
Yeah. Now look at how much of a gap you've still got behind you.
Yeah. Woo! I say I have the same adrenaline as I did when I did the emergency stop. God. It's good for me to practice though, because I might have to do it at some point.
So
Like
on reflection,
Yeah.
now having done it,
Yeah.
how hard was it?
Not hard. It's just like pulling onto a dual carriageway, but from a lay-by. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty much the same.
Right, okay, so let's have a quick recap then. So far today, what have you done about lay-bys?
Oh, they're not that scary. Because I always thought, like, oh, that, like, I probably will end up stopping if, like, you know, I've got a problem, or, like, when I'm older and I have kids, if they don't feel well, or just, you know, general things like that where you have to stop.
It's worth having a read of the highway code to check up on what all the rules and regulations are with regards to lay-bys.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's very easy to be in a lay-by and inadvertently, you know, you might be breaking one or more laws, which if you get caught doing it could end up getting you points on your license and a fine. So we won't go through them all now, but have you got a copy of the highway code?
Yeah, it's on my app that I had for my theory test. It came with it.
Okay.
So it's
So
just on
just have a look at that. Just maybe search for lay-bys and just see what it says. But yeah, they are there to use. You know, which is why they've got that P sign there. So it's not just for vehicles that are broken down. We are allowed to stop in them.
Yeah.
Okay, but you need to know what the regulations are as well. But if you had to use one again, do you feel like you've got enough now to be able to pull in safely, know what to look for in the lay-by itself in terms of where you position your car versus other vehicles, and you feel confident now that you would know what to do to pull out again safely?
Yeah.
Cool.